My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read all my writing, go to counterpropa.com. You can support the site through the Amazon links at counterpropa. And my latest article is now also in the Huffington Post. My latest counterpropa article, it is electing Tom Perez DNC chair, proves Democrats have abandoned Bernie's revolution. Please share that article, the Huffington Post, and the counterpropa article there below. President Trump is going to speak to Congress this evening, and Democrats almost certainly will try some form of protest, not standing or clapping, but that's happened in the past. I'm going to read you something, though, from CNN, very interesting. Now, in 2009, Republican Joe Wilson of South Carolina shouted, "You lie." That was very stupid to do. That only strengthened Democrats. And it for a lot of reasons, it was the wrong thing to do when President Obama was speaking. I'm not the biggest fan, of course, of President Obama. Definitely not of Hillary Clinton. Not a great fan of Trump, although, like I always say, and like I've written about, Trump is still the lesser evil compared to establishment Democrats. But I'm going to read you a "you lie" moment. In 2009, Republican Representative Joe Wilson of South Carolina famously shouted, "You lie," as President Barack Obama told the nation in a joint address to Congress that his health care plan would not cover undocumented immigrants. The outburst, highly unusual for such an occasion, underscored the heightened emotions of the moment. Nearly 8 years later, the Democratic base is now rebelling against the Republican president with protests and surging town hall attendance, marking Trump's first weeks in office. Democrats are under intense pressure from the progressive base to oppose Trump at every turn. That's actually not true. All the protests, those aren't the people who voted for the Green Party. A lot of them aren't people who said, you know what, I'm just not going to vote for Hillary. I'm not going to vote for, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein, or I'm going to write in Bernie. A lot of those people are just protesters because they hate what they think Trump stands for. Not necessarily protesters who dislike the neocons who've infiltrated the Democratic Party and who now set foreign policy for Democrats. Not that the ideological push behind the protests have nothing to do with structural change, breaking up too big to fail banks, reinstating Glass-Steagall, support for a single-payer health care. It's just Trump is a quote-unquote racist, so we hate him. We're going to protest him. Not necessarily the 70,000 plus people who basically gave the election to President Trump in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Those people are, well, I'll get to that in a moment. That anger could erupt into a Wilson-like moment. So this is CNN, is basically, and there's other articles too, CNN is basically, foreshadowing a kind of protest, some kind of symbolic gesture. We'll see what happens tonight. Whatever takes place, if Democrats decide to do that, it's only going to strengthen Trump, just like Joe Wilson strengthened President Obama. The only way to defeat Trump is to focus completely on policy. Democrats don't do that. They say, oh, well, you're cutting the budget for the EPA. They don't say, let's ban fracking. But I can go on forever on that. Give me your thoughts below. And they certainly don't have a Green New Deal like Jill Stein. Give me your thoughts below. Thank you so much for listening.